What's going on, everybody? Yep, you read the title right. We are doing another DR-Z first ride, and let's ride this time capsule, baby. Alrighty, everybody, Chaseontwowheels here at Mountain Motorsports in Roswell. In front of us, we have Suzuki's brand new 2022 DR-Z400 SM. No, it has not changed since the last time I rode it 6 years ago, but I like to just revisit it every now and then just to remind myself how amazing the DR-Z is. The last time I rode it was in 2016. We're now in 2022, so let's see how it rides in a brand new year. Hey guys, this is the first ride. You guys know how we do it. Let's see what it looks like and let's see what it sounds like. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, that's what the DR-Z looks like. That's what it sounds like in this beautiful black, silver, and red. Now, before we get this first ride started, we have an ad that we're going to cut to, and it's an actual really cool ad. You guys need to check this thing out.
Guys, we're excited to be working with Omaze to offer you the chance to win a custom DRZ400 Ford Bronco, all while supporting a great cause, the Warrior Built Foundation. Go to omaze.com/2wheels to enter for your chance to win. You all know us, we love giving stuff away. Cardos, bomb-ass motorcycle content, wreck bikes we turn into dream bikes, so it just made sense to partner up with an organization that does the exact same thing, albeit on a significantly larger scale, but I digress. Right now, Omaze is giving away a custom DRZ400 Ford Bronco built out to be an off-road monster with $80,000 worth of customization work. Would you just look at this thing? Can you imagine all the off-road camera car footage we could get with this thing? Sadly, I don't think we can win it since we're partnering with Omaze, but you could, all while supporting a great cause at the same time. The Warrior Built is dedicated to providing our vets with vocational and recreational therapy. Warrior Built sets up experiences working with mechanics and vehicle modification and by going on recreational adventures around the country. Even if you don't win, you can feel good about supporting a great cause that supports the people who have supported everybody. Omaze, one round of support all around. To enter for a chance to win this custom DRZ400 Ford Bronco, all while supporting the Warrior Built Foundation, go to omaze.com/2wheels. Donations support the amazing work of the Warrior Built Foundation. Thanks, Omaze, for sponsoring this video, and back to the first ride.
Alrighty, guys, shout out to Omaze for sponsoring this video, and also, how freaking cool is that Bronco? Anyways, thank you, Omaze, for sponsoring the video. You guys supporting companies that support us. It's a beautiful little realm we get to live in. Alright, dudes, 2022 Suzuki DR-Z400 SM. Straight out of the time capsule, baby. This thing has not changed at all. All right, all the way out. Hold the clutch in. Alrighty, there we go. All right, guys, I'm 5'10", got a 32-inch inseam. Got slightly bent legs on one side, and I'm tippy-toe on the other. A little bit taller of a motorcycle here. As you guys can see, total miles of 27. And I'm not here to waste y'all's time. Let's get this thing going. Guys, before we get too far, I want to give a little shout out to our motorcycle Discord server that we have. If you guys are fans of Discord and motorcycles, we got a place for you. So link in the description if you guys want to go check it out. Ah, hell, we're going to go. Let's do it. All right, guys, so let's get this first ride going on what could be argued as the most popular supermoto ever made. I probably see more DR-Z supermotos than any other supermoto on the market. I don't know if that's because Suzuki's made the same bike for over a decade, or if that's because they are that popular, but I mean, Suzuki keeps making them, and they don't change it, so something has to be working, and hopefully we can find that out today. Have my thoughts changed in the 6 years since I rode this thing? Alright guys, first ride time, and let's talk about body position. First off with the seat is a little thin, but overall I think it's a relatively okay seat. I kind of expect a seat like this on a supermoto / dirt bike, and compared to that CRF I rode recently, this thing is great. As far as my lower half body position, my legs, as you can see, the top part of my leg is kind of straight up. My legs kind of fall backwards down, and I got plenty of space for movement, so if you're a taller rider, you're gonna be totally fine on the DRZ. My top half, I got a pretty straight up back. My arms are kind of draped down in front of me on the handlebars. Very relaxed, very comfortable seating position here. I got no problems. I think the only thing people would really criticize was maybe the how thin the seat is. But overall, relatively comfortable, you know? Guys, while we're standing still, let's talk about the electronics real quick. No modes, no ABS, no traction control. The DRZ is honestly one of the most pure motorcycles that you can buy in the year 2022. Most motorcycles, you're seeing ABS be equipped universally. You're seeing traction control. You're seeing modes. You're seeing a TFT dash. Suzuki says, no, no, no. We are not touching our DRZ. The only mode you have is how hard you pull the throttle. That is the only thing you are controlling here, guys. It is just you and the motorcycle, and it is not even fuel injected. It is carbureted. So if you're a mechanic and you're not a fan of electronics, I don't know if you can have a better motorcycle. Archaic tendencies aside, guys, let's talk about the balance on this bike. I'm not sure exactly what the weight comes in at, but this bike feels incredibly light. I've noticed when I've been in the slow traffic, I have no problem just slowly actuating the clutch and coming up to traffic. I love playing that slow speed game of where you try not to put your feet on the ground. Perfect example here ahead of us. So I can get to just barely going, and the bike has really good balance and lightweight, so I can just get to going very slowly here. And this is my first time on it in 6 years, so as you guys can see, you have a lot of flexibility here. Look at that. I'm gonna scare this car. Look at that. Oh, I almost made it, but this lady's not paying attention. Yeah, super good balance on the bike. It's very light, so I can kind of get in and out of traffic. Really love that. Very reminiscent of my WR. This bike actually somehow feels lighter than my WR. I have a WR250 at home, a 2008, that I adore. I don't ride it as much as I should, but I adore it. Ooh, let's get around that. But yeah, somehow this bike feels lighter and more flickable than that bike. I really like the maneuverability of this thing. It makes me understand even more. Like I get on this bike and I criticize it ahead of time, right? Hasn't changed at all. There's kind of a nostalgia factor, I'm not gonna lie. And it's very easy to criticize the lack of updates on this thing. And then you ride it, and it's such a good ride that you realize that, like, I mean, should they change anything? It's like an awesome time capsule. I will note we are on the SM model. SM standing for Supermoto, which means we basically have road tires up front. Things to note for you guys. Look, can we just go? We can. Let's scoot around this traffic. You guys know how I said it has no ABS? This thing is popping left and right. That means you can press the rear brake and skid the rear tire. Haha. I think I scared this little Tucson. I'm sorry, Tucson. I didn't mean to scare you. You know, guys, I gotta let you in on something. My WR, wow, that tire mark is so long. My WR, one of the super fun factors of that motorcycle is kind of that the bike is unimpeded. There's nothing between you and doing whatever you want on the bike. You know, these new bikes these days got all this fancy electronics, and if you want to do wheelies, you got to turn traction control off and all this kind of stuff. Tiger 660, I'm looking at you. But it's kind of one of the cool things about these supermotos, man. And I love that, you know, Yamaha doesn't make the WR250 anymore. But I love that Suzuki still gives you that chance to get in on that unencumbered fun that a motorcycle can have. I hope you guys can hear these pops. It's hilarious. This is a brand new motorcycle and it's popping. Typically that's like after you get an exhaust and you don't tune it correctly or something. Oh, in traffic, this DRZ is so good, so maneuverable. You got this high up handlebar, you're sitting high up on the seat. You are in control of your domain with this thing. And that lightweight just makes you want to just throw the bike around. It incentivizes you to do that. So guys, sitting at this red light, this is one of the things, it's a slightly taller bike, but it's so light, it doesn't even matter if the bike's leaned over. I don't feel any weight anywhere. It's extremely light, even being bent over. So if you're a shorter rider and you're wanting a DRZ, you know, typically the weight of a motorcycle really matters when you're short and it's a tall bike, but I really don't think short people have to worry too much about the DRZ because, you know, will you be leaning off the bike? Yeah, absolutely. But the weight, it's not even a big deal even at that point. So guys, coming up, we have our highway test. And I love my WR250X, right? It's a great bike. But it is absolutely terrifying on the highway. If you just slightly move your handlebars like that, the whole bike just starts wiggling. I don't know if the DRZ is going to do that. I hope it doesn't. I will tell you, if I'm going somewhere on my WR, I'll intentionally put avoid. It's the only time I really put avoid highways on my GPS. So we'll have to see if the DR-Z400 does the same. I'm hopeful that the engine's going to be a little better on the highway. Obviously, 250 versus a 400, you know, it should do a little better. All right, dudes. Highway time, DR-Z400, baby. Let's go. Pop, 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 pop. 40 to 80 pull should be interesting here. Let's find out how it is. Good lord, we got these huge mirrors on here that look like shit, but man, they work pretty well. All right, we want to give it a best shot, so I think it's going to be a little slow to get to 80. All right, we're gonna get in the right gear. We're gonna slow down a little more and go. I don't got a tag, so I gotta guess where the red line is. We're still trying for it. We're still there, she blows. Alrighty, DRZ, you got there. It took a little bit longer than other bikes, but you got there. No shame in that. Alrighty, dudes, here on the highway with the DR-Z400 SM. And the first thing I notice is the power difference between this and my WR. I'm able to get up to 85 easily, and I can still be pulled with this bike. Versus my WR, I capped it out on the highway the other day. I was in a full tuck with a wind behind me, and I was going downhill, and I got 86. As far as wind here on the highway, you guys can see we don't got much protecting us. I can feel the wind about chest level, so long term on the highway, you are going to be dealing with that. As far as stability on the highway, it's a very light, playful motorcycle. You can still feel that here. I don't feel necessarily blown around by the wind, but I don't feel extraordinarily stable. Let's see if it does the thing. It does! Okay, be careful on the highway with this thing. You slightly move the handlebars, it's going to move all around. So, what I'll say about this bike on the highway, it's better than the WR250. You know, with the engine that it's got, but not by much. I could definitely see myself doing a little more highway on this than I can my bike, my WR, but I wouldn't want to do much. Is tucking in do anything? No, not really. Okay, well, now we know. Tucking in's not really going to help you out at all, but I think that's it. No cruise control, no nothing here. It's just you and the bike, man. Like I said, I do find myself, now that I'm up at like 85, I find myself kind of pushing forward into the wind just to kind of help me, because if I'm just upright, I feel like a sail. So you guys got to be careful on the highway. Alrighty, we are done with the highway. Thank God. Alright, let's see what it's like leaned over. We got two giant trucks in front of us, so this should be anticlimactic. And into the outside, throw it over into the inside. Very composed, yes. We like the DR-Z. It feels great leaned over. These supermotors are fun, man. There's no weight to them, so you just throw them over and they're just super compliant, just flying through a turn. Alrighty guys, before we go any farther, let's jump to a Cardo spot and see what the guys in the camera car think of the cool little DR-Z400.
One of the longest running unchanged motorcycles in modern motorcycling. It is the king of the supermotors, rightfully so. There is so much stuff available for this machine. It is absolutely insane. It was cool when they first released it, and it's still cool now.
Man, this thing's a dinosaur. You know, it evolved to where it needed to get, and it's as good as it's going to get. And I mean, these things are bulletproof. You know, you can wheelie them and just drop them about anywhere, and then get back and ride on it. So I have never ridden one, but I've seen them thrown down the highway a couple times and go on without a care in the world. Cool bike.
Alrighty guys, in the camera car, thank you so much for your opinions, and Cardo, thank you for sponsoring the First Ride series. Guys, you can get a discount with a Cardo. They are our favorite Bluetooth unit, and the description down below. Alright guys, so let's talk about the power here on the DR-Z. I am a fan of the little bit more power you get on this as compared to a WR. It's not going to throw you into the back of the seat, but it's got a good usable amount of power to help you get around traffic. I don't feel a very strong power band at any certain point, so that's going to make the bike a lot easier to ride for you guys that are maybe just starting out. As far as the suspension goes, does not look like we have adjustable suspension, so there is that. But it's a supermoto, so it's composed, kind of bouncy, feels pretty good, feels pretty playful. I'm enjoying myself. As far as the brakes go on this thing, the rear brake feels a little lackluster, but it locks the wheel up in the rear just fine, which makes it hilarious for me to ride. As far as the front brakes, everything's been pretty fine. Whenever I've needed some stopping power, front suspension's diving down, I've had no problems bringing this thing to a stop thus far. Transmission wise, guys, I've had no problems getting into neutral, shifting up through the gears. I will say that I feel like I get to the top of gear rather quickly, and then I don't realize I'm in the top gear, so I find myself trying to go up one more gear a couple of times. So that's happened a few times. Keep that in mind. If you rode the bike for a long time, you probably wouldn't really have those, you'd learn where the bike is and the gearing and everything. Engine braking's a little light. God, the popping. Here, let's play with the brakes. Not too much because we don't have ABS, but you know. Yeah, that'll work. I don't know if I'd want stronger brakes. The suspension's so soft in the front, it would it might flip me forward. Another thing I noticed, guys, is when you're revving the bike out, and you can't really see if you're revving the bike out because you can't see that. You only got miles per hour here on the dash, but when you get the bike revved up a little bit, there is a little bit of shaking. Well, I wouldn't even call it shaking. I would call it vibrating in the pegs, and especially if you are touching on the frame, you feel a lot of vibration. I don't mind like shaking. Shaking would be like a slower vibration. Vibration are like small, like micro jitters, and they were kind of annoying. That is something I noticed back there. I noticed on the highway and then noticed it back there when we were having to rev up a little bit. And the mirrors seem to shake a little bit. So if that's a thing for you, you know, if shaking, I know some people like their hands go numb if there's too much shaking. Do we have a bit of a shakier motorcycle here? Alrighty dudes, let's talk about the cockpit here on the DR-Z400. And there's not a ton to talk about. You know, with one of the things about not having modes on a bike is there's not a lot of controls to talk about. So controls on the left side, I have the blinkers, the horn, and we have the brights. You can see the little bright indicator there. Things have a good feel when I click them. They click into place. This side seems a bit archaic. It's only a kill switch and a starter, but I'm not a big fan of the push in, push out kill switch. I'd rather have the toggle up and down. And then we have the dash, which as the rest of the motorcycle hasn't changed in quite a while, it shows you most of the stuff you need to see. You know, we don't have any tacks, so we don't know how many RPMs we're going. If you press on stuff, it kind of moves around. It does the job. You know, you can see what time it is, and you can see how fast you're going. And really, what else do you need? Really, you got to trip A and B so you can, you know, time out your oil changes and stuff. So it's cool. I mean, what am I supposed to say? I hate this personally. I would never own this bike for this reason alone. The grips are fine. You guys can see these little ridges that the grips have on them. I don't really like the way that makes my hands feel. I feel like my hands can't get a great grasp on the grip. I would prefer to, you might just be able to shave those off, honestly, and they would be a little better. I'd prefer that. And like I said, if you get the RPMs spun up, the mirrors start shaking a little bit, but the mirrors are pretty big. They're hideous, but they work. So it's kind of up to you. Do you like mirrors that work, that look bad, or would you rather have mirrors that look cooler but actually work less good? All right, guys, so up here, I know you guys have been getting to look at the motorcycle, but I haven't. So we're going to pull off up here into our old spot. Gonna walk around the bike and point some stuff out to you. All right, kill switch. Also, guys, look how tiny the key is. The key hasn't even changed in 7 years. My God. You guys like how I've been saying 5, 7, and 6, just interchanging them out. All right, guys, here we have the brand new / hasn't changed DR-Z400 SM. It is in C2 colors. You know, we appreciate the black, the red, and the silver. We got our cool little fanny pack in the back, which has tools and stuff in it. So who needs underseat storage when you got a fanny pack? As we can see, the looks are exactly the same, guys. The bike, when I tell you guys this bike has not changed, it has literally, I don't even think the headlight's any different. If you're a fan of this motorcycle, let me know. Are you a fan of this look? Because once you have a bike figured out and you have a cult following, do you change it? These are the questions that I find myself asking. I honestly don't have too many problems with the looks. The things that don't do it for me, not a fan of the silver. I wish we could just be blacked out. Exhaust, you can modify those. You can cut this down and replace that. I don't have a problem with any of that. The only part of this bike I really don't like is that headlight. You know, that's the only thing I really wish if I owned one, I'd modify that headlight first. Well, that and probably an exhaust. But yeah, the swing arm I'm not digging. I don't like the silver stuff, so it is what it is. But guys, before we go any farther, oh look, a Bronco. Well, the one that Omaze is giving away is a little better than that one, no shame. But let's take some photos. If you guys are Instagram peeps, you should go follow us over on Instagram. We're at C2Pics. We post lots of photos over there, first ride photos and other stuff. Fanny pack captured. Alrighty, guys, photos are done. You guys go over there and check them out. And if you came from a first ride video, let us know. Be like, bruh, I saw this on a first ride video and I had to come check the photos out. Also, if you guys want to see stupid little short videos, we make them on TikTok. So over on TikTok, we are at Chaseontwowheels, the exact same spelling as the channel you are watching. All right, guys, let's get on this thing. Let's do the turnaround test. And let's talk about who this bike is for, because I have an idea that I know exactly who needs this bike. I can see them in my mind. All right, steering stem is locked. Let's walk it around. A decent showing. Nice job, DR-Z400. All right, guys, so the question everybody / probably nobody is asking is, who is the ideal person for the DR-Z? It's been around for a long time. It costs probably $1,500 or $1,500. It costs around $1,500 less than the brand new CRF450 RL, and it costs a few bucks more than Kawasaki's KLX 300. This motorcycle is for a very different person than those bikes, because this is one of the few bikes on the market that, you know, I know we've been joking around about calling this thing a time capsule, but guys, it literally is. Producer Trey had the idea that he wonders if they're not updating this motorcycle because the DRZ patent has been it's like grandfathered in to new rules, because this bike would not pass current requirements and current standards. So we're wondering if Suzuki's just not updating it so that it doesn't have to change too much. You can imagine a company is like, we can either keep making it or we have to invest the R&D to totally redo it. This bike is for somebody that is either mechanically inclined or is interested in becoming mechanically inclined and wants a cheap, fun motorcycle to have a really good time on. I think the power plant here in the 400 DRZ, it's 100% adequate. I could get on the highway, I could get up to highway speeds with no problem. So you're not going to be really hindered from going anywhere. It's a carbureted motorcycle, which if you are interested in learning how to work on bikes, it is incredibly easier from what I hear. I don't know this firsthand, obviously. People that do know things around me have said that this style of motorcycle is very easy to work on. It also doesn't have any tech, so you don't have to worry about, you know, doing all this work and messing up some computer system on the machine. Some people aren't going to like that. I am personally not somebody that this bike is made for. But if you're mechanically inclined and you are not a fan of tech on motorcycles, I truly don't know if there's a better bike on the market that would allow you to really enjoy a motorcycle as much as this DR-Z400 SM, because it hasn't changed. It's one of the few bikes that hasn't. And you guys know how the world is these days. Stuff gets cool and then it gets old and it's not cool anymore. And if you give it some time, things tend to become cool again. So the question is Suzuki playing the super long game? And they're not going to change the DRZ and hope that one day it becomes the cool bike again. Who knows, man? The world's a crazy place. It could totally happen. But guys, thanks for riding around with me. Before we end this video, I got to go shout out to my guys at Mountain Motorsports. They're where we picked this bike up at, and they're who allow us to do first rides on all of their motorcycles. You guys, use the link in the description. Go check out Mountain's website. And if you end up going and picking up a new bike at Mountain, make sure to use the coupon code down there with the link. That way you guys can get a discount on your next motorcycle. Mountain's got multiple dealerships up here in North Atlanta, or North Georgia, so make sure to check out what locations they got. There's probably one close to you. And guys, y'all go out there and ride safe. I'm Chaseontwowheels, and I'll see you on the next one. Later. Outro crew, put OC in your comment. Thank you guys for getting to the end of the video. Love you guys a long time. And guys, let me know. Do you think, what are the odds that you think this is going to become cool again? Give me a spread in the comments. There's a 10% chance, 20% chance, 100% chance. You guys let me know. I am super curious to see what you guys think. Will the DR-Z400 SM ever become cool again? You guys ride safe out there. We love you a little bit longer. We'll see you on the next one. Later.